Hey guys, it's Shane Speal, and today we're going to talk about what I call guitarcheology. Yeah, it's a little dumb a name, but hey, it works. All right, first of all, this video is brought to you by stubbyslide.com. Stubbyslide.com, where you can find the cool t shirts like Boogeyman here and the skeleton over here I call Scully. So check it out, stubbyslide.com. All right, guitarcheology. That's what I call the study of word of mouth homemade instruments, um, between finding out their history and recreating them. First, I want to show this to you. This is one of the newest in my collection. This thing's massive. It's well over 3 feet long. This is a one string cigar box instrument. Now, blues guys would be foaming at the mouth because they'd see this and they think you found an actual diddly bow. This has a real cigar box. Crazy thing about this is tax stamp is from Canada. Check that out. I've never gotten an antique cigar box guitar with a Canadian box. But okay, so blues guys, they see a one string antique cigar box guitar and they automatically think Blind Willie Johnson and diddly bows. I don't think that's what this was because I have several others in my collection, such as this one here. And getting back, showing you they are of similar length. Now, the one I just got here, that's a little bit longer, but they're of similar length. And that's because I found there's a whole tradition that was in vaudeville theater of what was called either a vaudeville fiddle or a knee fiddle. And the long neck was needed because you held the instrument between your knees, you used a violin bow, and you played it like a cello. Uh, I discussed this in my book that's coming out later this year. So I'm going to leave some of the details out because I want you to get the book. There's some fascinating stuff in there. But either way, this is fantastic. I wanted to show it off, show you guys some parts. You guys are like family to me, and when I get excited about something, I want to share it with you. This is, before I do some close ups, the woodworking on this is just fantastic. Whoever did this meant for it to be played seriously. Right now, it's got a nylon fishing string on there, but I doubt that was the original string. Um, all right, let's get into some camera details. I'm going to do this and pull it like here. If you look, sorry about the camera, right there. Some beautiful wood joints there, well thought out, all hand saws, probably like coping saws and such to build this. If you look right here on the fretboard, all the screws or nails were covered in with dowels and glued in. So they covered up their screw marks, their nail marks, and let me do a little, bring the camera back. Check out those half moon or crescent moon sound holes. The tailpiece is held on with a little piece of leather, it looks like, and it's this wooden tailpiece that is very similar to a violin tailpiece. Let me go out and then there. Check that out. Isn't that beautiful? The whole thing was varnished to give a beautiful dark wood stain to it. In fact, they used varnish over the tax stamp, which gave it that look, and then over the years aged it more. Now there's a piece of, looks like Velcro fuzz here. I don't know what that's from. That was put in later, and that may have been whoever owned this before had this displayed, and maybe that kept it from being on a wall or something. But guitarcheology. Now, my next step for this, I want to date the box because if I date the box, then I know how old this could be at most. Because if the box dates to 1920s, then I know this guitar is not older than the 1920s. I also want to do some research. I know that I got this guitar from an eBay seller in Las Vegas. Um, and Las Vegas doesn't have a deep history with old stuff like this, so I'm thinking that it came into that town, especially since it has the Canadian tax stamp. I'm going to do some measurements on the whole thing just to compare. And that's how I approach all this. Eventually, what I may do is the other part of guitarcheology, and that is the recreation of antique instruments, whether they are built to copy another antique instrument, just size by size and everything, or suppose you hear an old story like Scrapper Blackwell, the great blues legend Scrapper Blackwell, described his first cigar box guitar as being made with a wooden box and a mandolin neck and 6 strings. So I took his interview and I built a guitar based off of his interview. If you search through cigarboxnation.com, you can find my builder's notes for this. It's actually going to be in my new book as well in finer detail about this build, but it's a little out of tune. I haven't played it lately. But yeah, this was another version of what I call guitarcheology. And that's simply just trying to get into the history, learning the history, either by collecting the antiques and learning from the things that they use to build instruments, or reading the first-hand accounts and then recreating those instruments. This is the other knee fiddle that I have. And one of the cool details here is something that I may try on something else. It has a dowel rod for a tuner, and it's been tapered some so that it can be wedged in a hole. But look at this crazy thing. They have a piece of a chain link, and that chain link helps you turn the string. I don't really mess with this too much anymore, trying to tighten this guitar, because this dowel rod feels like it's cracking a little bit. And the last thing I want to do is to harm an antique in my collection. But that's guitarcheology. It's, I try to collect as many different homemade instruments as I can afford, simply to document how they were built and then share the information with you. This was a plywood guitar, I'm thinking 1960s. I'm still working on the history on that. This is a 4-string plywood baritone. This was found at a yard sale somewhere in the state of Indiana about a decade ago. And it's probably even older than that. Boom. Hold on. Here's your airplane shot. Everyone showing off a guitar has to give an airplane shot. And here's another one I just got. There is no information on this, so I'm going to be looking up the guitar neck. And this looks like it's an old drawer of like a woman's Victorian dresser. It looks like they took a drawer out of there and used that for the guitar body. The neck is obviously salvaged. The cool thing is that I can at least date the neck, possibly because there's an old serial number for where the neck comes from, and it's got a distinctive headstock cut that looks like it's original. So I can use this and do some internet searches and try to find where the neck came from, how old the neck is. Once I know how old the neck is, I know at least how young or how old this could be. And stuff like this, I'm also tempted eventually to, the action's horrible. I may get this playing again. Certain antiques I have, if they look like they can take some of the adjustments, I will actually try to bring them back to playable status. So there's your guitarcheology for you. do yourself a favor and start looking up the stories of old bluesmen or even the Wisconsin lumberjack tradition. Where is it? Check this out. I've shown this in a thing before. This is a great book, Folk Songs of Another America. And this is James P. Leary's book about the Wisconsin folk music traditions. And as you can tell, there's some cigar box guitar action going on in there. So you can get stuff like this, read about it, and try to create your own historical versions. Read the stories, or even try to find an antique or two, and then create your own version while still keeping the original in its pristine state, or this, however you find it. Okay, guys, my name's Shane Speal. I just wanted to give you a little fun, have a little fun with this, and especially to show off this thing. This thing's beautiful. I'm proud that I found this. I spent a lot of money on it. Um, but this will eventually go at the Cigar Box Guitar Museum at Speal's Tavern. Um, I may want to put this on tour once my book comes out, maybe at different places for other people to see, and then eventually it'll make its way to Speal's Tavern. Okay, thank you for watching. Make sure you check out stubbyslide.com for great t-shirts, guitar slides, and things like that. My website is shanespiel.com. And subscribe so that you can see more cool videos like this. Thanks.